Why fast food is insanely expensive? This is not just, this is not just America. This is, I think, every country, because we have a recession right now. So that's why. That's one of the parts. What to say? One of the parts in it.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, fast food prices have increased by nearly 50% over
50%? It's 200%. What is he talking about? McChicken, $1, and that's just 2014. That's not a long time even. 2024. And this, 2025, I think that's even worse than 2024. But who am I to say?
For the last decade, with McDonald's raising prices at nearly triple the national rate of inflation.
Triple.
And with 80% of Americans now viewing...
And that's, they count in inflation as well. So if you don't even count in inflation, I guess you have to count in inflation because, But if you haven't counted the inflation, it would have been even crazier.
Fast food as a luxury. How did some of the cheapest meals in the country become just another way to fatten shareholder pockets?
I think here in Sweden, you pay around, like just a couple of years ago, it was like $7 for a Big Mac or something. And now it's, or was it? Yeah, I think $7, and that was a meal. $7 for Big Mac, and now I think it's $9 or $10 for a Big Mac. And this is just a couple of years we're talking about, so it's not good.
Well, the concept of fast food was originally intended to be a quick and affordable alternative for the working class, with McDonald's famously celebrating that a family of 4 could be served in under a minute for less than $1.
That's great.
Modern fast food is increasing prices.
But then again, this is way back. But if you take the percentage out of this, it's still a lot cheaper. But that's the same with every successful company. They're going to raise the prices until you can't afford it. And when you can't afford it, they're going to lower it a little bit. But, it's order by demand as well. So they're going to see if they don't get stuff sold, and then they need to decrease the prices. That's what I think, at least.
Surpassing both inflation as well as full-service restaurants.
I think a lot of fast food restaurants have just gotten sloppy. And we are now playing by a new set of rules where people don't have that kind of money to just go out and spend.
Sloppy in the terms of what? We haven't heard why they are sloppy here, say. Fast food chains are sloppy. In terms of, you tell me.
I mean, when McDonald's is getting compared to Chili's, McDonald's is in trouble.
We don't have Chili's here in I don't think we have it in Europe, but at least we don't have it in Sweden, so I can't compare it. And we have McDonald's, though.
I mean, you can't do that. That's not your customer. Your customer expects to be able to pull into a drive-thru and get a burger at a decent price.
This is Patrick Terry, founder and CEO of P. Terry's, an Austin-based hamburger chain now celebrating its 20th year anniversary with 36 locations
some American
and over
stuff.
1,300 employees, where he explains the repercussions that corporate fast food chains such as McDonald's and Starbucks are now facing after decades of prioritizing profits over people.
Our business is just growing.
Good. I forget to tell you, I am good. I'm good. It's warm, but I'm good.
Facing after decades of prioritizing profits over people.
Our business has just grown significantly over the last 20 years. In fact, if you combine the last 2 years of our business, we're up 20%. And you see like
that's not too much, 20%. But thanks for the follow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Quarter up 20%. And you see like last quarter, McDonald's was down 3, Starbucks was down. These guys have just gotten too expensive. And so I think we're finally getting, P. Terry's is finally getting the recognition of the value that we've always been, but now it's just so blatant that it's hard to miss.
By the 1980s, McDonald's had fundamentally solidified its position as the dominant force in the American fast food industry.
When is McDonald's founded? It's founded in 1955, but here I see something else. First restaurant opened 1940, but maybe as a business, it's 1955. Can you see this? 1955, Des Plaines, Illinois, USA. It's kind of late, because always when you see other stuff, it's like founded in 1876 or something. But I don't know when they did the first hamburger. Let's see. When did they release the first hamburger? First hamburger. Here we go. Charlie Nagreen. 1885. Here we go. 1885. So that I say everything that is founded, it seems like, is founded in the late 1800s for some reason. Now we know. 1955. I need to remember that. 1955.
Fundamentally
Blatant that it's hard to miss.
By the 1980s, McDonald's had fundamentally solidified its position as the dominant force in the American fast food industry, causing Wendy's to recognize that gaining market share wouldn't come from scale or new menu innovations. It would come from price. And unlike McDonald's and Burger King, who aggressively discounted their high-margin signature burgers.
Yeah, the problem is when it gets to a monopoly, because then if just one chain, like we talked about before with Nevada and AMD, people are buying Nevada because they have been better throughout, but now they're starting to slack a little bit, and they have had a monopoly, and then they can raise the prices to whatever, you know. And I guess they have talked to each other in Nevada. If we talk Nevada and AMD, they have probably talked to each other like, yeah, we're gonna raise this much, okay, then we're gonna raise this much, blah blah blah. So they are competitive a little bit with the prices, so both can earn on it, so to speak. So I think that's the problem when you have a monopoly, that you can raise it how much you want, and that's not good. Obviously.
Wendy's chose to protect its premium offerings, known for fresh, never frozen beef, by creating a separate menu built specifically for budget-conscious consumers. Or in 1989, Wendy's introduced the Super Value menu, featuring a dedicated lineup of 99-cent items like chili, a baked potato, and the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, which officially created a volume...
I don't think we have Wendy's, but when did they do Wendy's? Is it Wendy's? Wendy's, let's see. Okay, that's later. 1969, over 10 years later, 14 years later than McDonald's. 15th of November, one day after I was born, but a little bit earlier. I'm not that old, unfortunately. I will be. Hopefully one day I will be, if, you know, we don't have a little misconception somehow.
Model that attracted price and the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, which officially created a volume-driven model that attracted price-sensitive customers while boosting profitability through high-margin add-ons like drinks and Frosties.
He drank his mustache.
Burger King introduced the 99-cent Great Taste menu.
Burger King, okay, we need to check out Burger King as well. Sorry for all the pausing. I just want to know. Burger King. 1954! Shit, we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Look, 1954. That's 1 year before McDonald's. I didn't know that. Great. Great stuff.
And price-sensitive customers while boosting profitability through high-margin add-ons like drinks and Frosties. By 1998, Burger King introduced the 99-cent Great Taste menu, but unlike Wendy's, Burger King treated their value menu as a short-term marketing tactic, frequently rotating items and slashing prices on core products, such as the Whopper, which ultimately undermined profit margins and forced cost-cutting measures, particularly in the forms of reduced labor, blurring the line between affordability and cheapness, replacing the idea of fast food as a practical option for working families with the perception that it was simply low-quality food served by low-wage staff at the lowest possible price. Where by 2002, in response to slumping U.S. profits, McDonald's introduced the Dollar Menu, featuring staples like the McChicken, small fry.
Bring back bring back the cheap food and the cheap, but they're not gonna do it. It's over. That's the same. We have like, it's when stuff goes up that much, like the food and stuff. People's gonna be happy when it just go down. The price go down like maybe 10-15% again. But it still has gone up 200% from like a couple of years ago. But then people are complaining now, and then it's gonna go down 20%, and then it's good. They're not gonna go down to where it was before. I think I don't think everybody understand that that's the problem. It's always going to go up, and it's when it goes down, it's just gonna go down this much instead of this much. My opinion.
And the double cheeseburger, which succeeded in boosting traffic, but ultimately destroyed margins, as the average customer spent 3 cents less per transaction within just a few months, resulting in franchise owners across the country to raise prices on the dollar menu substantially above $1. And as KFC and Taco Bell rolled out similar bundle deals, the industry as a whole leaned further into understaffed kitchens and underpaid labor.
Yeah. Capitalism. I guess. Let's go.
Deals. The industry as a whole leaned further into understaffed kitchens and underpaid labor to offset losses on unsustainably low margins, as he raced to offer the cheapest meals, regardless of societal cost, created a business model that failed to price in worsening economic conditions or changing consumer behavior.
I can tell you in 20 years, I have never gone up on the price of anything, even if it's a nickel or a dime or a nickel, without visualizing it on the menu. What is this going to look like to me? What is this going to look like to the customer? Because the truth is, I'm my best customer. I'm the guy that shops at Costco. I fly Southwest Airlines. I mean, I am my customer. And so when it looks wrong to me, and when I look at it and I think, wait a minute, you now adjusted that price and you've changed the big number, which is the first number. So if the combo was $8.95 and now you're going to carry it over to $9, what does that look like? Because now we're in a different, even if it's $9.05, we're in a different look. We're in a different world. Is my customer going to be willing to absorb that?
But this doesn't say anything about anything. It's just saying stuff about him. Like he can raise it by $50, but if it looks right to him, it looks right to him. So he's basically saying nothing here, if you ask me.
So I better be damn careful before I make that change on the menu.
But I know what I mean. I know what he means. I'm not stupid. I know what it means. Like, you can't, I don't want to raise the prices. I want to be a decent human being. I want to make my customers happy, and so on and so on. So, I know what I mean.
That this is something we're all going to be able to live with, because once it's up, it's not going down.
I told you! I told you about it. He told me, let's wind that back, folks.
That this is something we're all going to be able to live with, because once it's up, it's not going down.
What the fuck? Let's go.
Better be damn careful
now
before I make that change on the menu, that this is something we're all going to be able to live with, because once it's up, it's not going down. It never goes down, right?
I told you 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago. I told you exactly what he said. Maybe I should own a fast food restaurant. It would be profit. Stonks.
It just does. So there is a connection that I feel like I have, that I know what my customer is thinking and where they are. And so much of this is gut as opposed to profit, because we're going to be around for a long time. And if we have to take a hit for a couple of months or a year because things just aren't working out in our favor, I'd rather do that than to lose my customers.
That's good.
And despite fast food giants,
then I was
raising menu
a little bit wrong, because I said that it doesn't have a meaning. It does have a meaning because he seems like a good person. But I think more should think like that, so it doesn't, everything nowadays is just profit, They don't care about so much else. And sometimes maybe you have to care about, being decent to the working folks.
They're also leaning into psychological tactics that trick the customer into spending more money. According to a 2023 report from Patronix, the leading provider of loyalty solutions, the top 10% of loyalty users often make up the majority of loyalty-based revenue, spending 2 to 3 times more than the average customer, as it provides the illusion of increased spending being offset by free achievements.
Yeah, of
in
course.
2024,
that's like mobile games. What is it called? When you do microtransactions on game. That's the same stuff, People, they buy the base game for $60, and then they have to buy in-game characters or whatnot for $5 each or $2 each, and about, oh, it's so cheap, and then when they have bought like 50 stuff, it's not that cheap anymore. That's why people hate it. And that's the same like this. We take it back.
Illusion of increased spending
This.
being offset by free achievements. Where
Yeah, being offset by free achievements. That's a good way of putting it. You can put that in a lot of scenarios.
2024, Starbucks announced its reward program had reached 33.8 million active members, with the former CEO revealing that 60% of total sales now comes from those members, despite it taking nearly $200 in purchases just to earn a free drink or breakfast item. Meanwhile, Taco Bell, despite raising prices by over 80% in the past decade, has rolled out exclusive perks like weekend stays, aerobics, and pickleball for loyalty users who spend 40% more per year than regular guests, where even the McDonald's CEO...
And this stuff, they probably get free. They probably have some, connections with these other, hotels or whatever. So they just have an exchange of that. So they're probably not going to pay for it. So they just make more money and you spend more money. A win-win situation, folks.
has admitted, we know as we drive loyalty adoption, we increase the frequency of visit and the spend from these customers over time.
We don't play any games.
Zero
I just gave
games.
a speech this morning
He doesn't even play World of Warcraft.
to a group of students, and the speech ended with doing the right thing and what your reputation means or should mean to you, certainly what it means to others. And the reputation, that's all we have. It's the only thing that you can't take away from me. So
I think this guy makes sense. He has a lot of backbone. I like this guy.
Guard that reputation.
But I don't know. I don't know him. But from just this outer shell, what do you call it? Like me looking into this, he seems like a great guy.
With our life, and honestly, part of that reputation that we have comes from our transparency.
Yeah.
And that people know that we're not trying to hide the ball or play any games.
That's good.
Because once you do that, and certainly if you get caught doing it, it's changed forever. You don't get that back. And so we are so careful with that. And, I've always felt like when I talk to people about the business, I'm just careful with every word because I never want to overpromise or not be absolutely sure of what I'm speaking, because there's a credibility thing that you have to worry about as well.
Yeah.
Where in addition to...
And I think he has a lot of good points, because he's talking about, like, if you say something wrong, people are going to remember that, or if you raise the price, whatever, they're going to call you greedy, and so on and so on. I think you can apply this to, like, your personal life as well. I guess you guys have had a bad interaction with someone sometime in your life, and you're probably going to remember that person as that interaction if you don't have solved it. And in 90% of the cases, you're not going to solve it, because that's just how it is. I don't know. That's a made-up number, but I guess you know what I mean. Like, you're not going to solve it, and then you're going to remember this guy or girl for what he said, the stupid things he said, even if that's just 1% of this person. You're still going to remember that part. And because of that, he's smart, because he's thinking about it in a business perspective as well. That's smart.
There's a credibility thing that you have to worry about as well.
Where in addition to hidden sales tactics and the unrelenting desire to eliminate labor costs, fast food companies such as Burger King are increasingly relying on automation. Where Josh Kobza, CEO of Burger King's parent company, Restaurant Brands International, told investors that the expansion of digital kiosks has reduced stressful interactions for both customers and staff.
Do you want to know what I think about that, when they digitalize everything and you have to do it yourself? Like, self-checkout in stores. I'm going to tell you what I think about that. I don't like it. Because if everybody start to do that, doing self-checkout and doing everything by yourself, and checking the groceries or whatever, you're not going to have any staff. The staff is going to disappear, and a lot of jobs is going to disappear. And everything is going to be automated by computers and AI or whatever, So I don't like it, and I don't think that's good for humanity. That's just what I think. And same with fast food business when they have that. It's sure, it's really easy, it's really convenient, it's less stress for people, I guess, but you know, when it come down to it, I don't think it's good. Let me know what you think.
Generally led to larger orders and allowed employees to spend more time preparing food. Or alongside this reduction in staff, the kiosk can also recommend add-ons based on each order, like suggesting a drink, or allowing customers to personalize items with extras like avocado. With Kabza even stating that Burger King plans to keep installing kiosks until the business is 100% digital as part of the $400 million...
Yeah, and what do you think is the problem then? You know, the business is gonna to earn a lot more money, but... a lot more people is going to be out of jobs, but then again, the jobs may be not that great because you earn a minimum wage and so on, and it's stressful and so on. I'm sure you could find a way to get it more humane for everybody, but you know what? They don't earn money on that. Oh, I feel like a hater. I'm a hater today. You know, I have so much. I have what do you call it? I have a lot of I don't know the English word for it, but I have a lot to talk about today.
A rebranding effort called Reclaim the Flame, which includes increased spending on advertising, digital tech, kitchen upgrades, and store renovations, or basically everything other than what the customer actually wants.
If you fill out your own iPad or your own kiosk and you make your order.
Yeah, and then I think maybe the final destination of this is they take away everything that isn't necessary. So you need to have everything on your phone or iPad or computer or whatever, and then you order from your personal stuff, because then they don't need that stuff in the store as well. So they can cut down on that cost. I think that can be a possibility as well. It's already starting, you know. You can have the app, so you can order through the app, and maybe that's the future when you can't interact with anything on the store. It's just everything is automated. So you just go there, get your food in a bag in some drive-through or whatever.
You're not connecting with anyone, and it's imperative for us that the customer connects with our team members, because we're trying to establish ourselves as a place that this is your P. Terry's. You recognize these people. Hopefully they recognize you.
Yeah.
We're looking for that connection. The last thing we want to do is not connect with the customer. And so
it makes sense, this guy.
That's what's happened in this QSR category, where people feel like this automation will drive efficiency. In some cases, they believe it increases the ticket. You get a higher ticket because when people are punching, they're more likely to buy a dessert or a drink or add a milkshake. They're looking. The restaurant is looking for you to do that. But we think that if you take that personal connection out of it, then it's not who we are, and it's not what we have always wanted to be. I've had customers follow employees from one restaurant to another because that's their guy. That's the guy who takes their order. That's the guy who looks after them. And if he moved down the street, then they move down the street. And it's a remarkable compliment to our people when we're able to connect like that.
Sure.
So, you know, I get this excitement about automation, but man,
I think you can live happily in both worlds. You know, you can have automated stuff, but then when you have a real restaurant, even if it's a fast food restaurant, I think it's really important with a human interaction, as he says. You know, because you remember that as well. If you have a good experience in a restaurant or when you buy clothes or whatever, you are more likely to go back there. So maybe you can earn more money because they're talking about revenue and everything. Maybe you can earn more money by having a real person that is good at his job, or she is good at her job, and if we're talking, service related jobs, like, because then you're gonna get the connection with folks, and then they're gonna come back. And if the food is good, great, So yeah, I get it. I get what I mean.
And
I agree.
And while fast food giants continue to blame every price increase on the economic ills of minimum wage, despite recent years of record profits, their refusal to plan for worsening conditions in favor of short-term gains is now being priced entirely onto the consumer.
What's really going on is in the background, what the customer doesn't see, and that is we're just in a world where things are very inconsistent. We don't know what the price of beef is going to be from one week to another. And that was never the case. Everything when we started out was the price just had almost absolutely no change.
Yeah.
Throughout.
Yeah, because that's of course that is a problem for the companies with the increasing costs of the products. Of course. So it's hard because sometimes it can't come from so far up in the chain. So if the prices of beef increases, maybe they have to increase the prices of the menu because they're not gonna make any profit out of it. They need a little bit of a margin to make a profit, like with everything. If you don't, you need to at least go a little bit plus, because elsewhere, otherwise you're gonna go bankrupt. And I don't know. I guess you don't want that. That's not good.
Beef, chicken, potatoes, they were all very consistent. And so it made it easy to forecast what you were going to do. Today, we will get a price on beef this Friday at 3:35 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that will tell us what the price of beef is for 1 week, 3 weeks from now.
1 week.
And we don't know if that will go up or down by 20, 30 cents. We just don't.
Yeah.
And so
if you have a big ass business and you have like tons and tons of products, it's gonna be just 10 cents. It's gonna be a huge amount of money. So I totally agree.
End up living with this uncertainty because you have to live with it. It's not going away. The price of chicken this year from January to May has doubled. I can't tell you why, and I'm not sure anyone can, but I can tell you that it has. And so you just have to be so careful.
That's just a couple of months. It's not very long. So imagine if it continues at that rate, it's not going to be sustainable.
What's going on?
It's not sustainable as it is right now.
On in the world, and what your headwinds are.
Prior to White Castle, which opened in Wichita, Kansas in 1921, most Americans believed hamburgers were made
1920. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
From slaughterhouse scraps or spoiled meat, thanks to the low-quality patties sold at fairs, lunch counters, and roadside carts, resulting in White Castle to build their kitchens in full view of their customer in hopes of restoring trust through transparency. But a century later, despite paying record high prices, the quality of fast food in America is once again a mystery.
It's getting worse and worse and worse because they do it cheaper. They do everything cheaper, and then they take a higher price for it. That's the same with every product you buy, because back in the day they built stuff for it to hold. And nowadays they don't build it to hold. I think they have it's a theory about that, and I think it's even a documentary. Like when they built it before, it was meant to last. Now it's not meant to last because they don't earn money on that. They build it so it has its cycle, and then it breaks. It doesn't work anymore. If you have a bike or whatever, So it's no quality products in 2025 is 0 to none. What do you say? It's not very high. That's because it's big corporations and everything. Of course you can buy quality products, but it's not like back in the days. And that I'm pretty sure of.
Study comparing.
Just see at your toaster, if your grandma's toaster or whatever she's had that since the 50s, and it works like a charm. And you have had your microwave since 2020, and it has broken down 3 times, or your toaster. That should explain it. I have my father-in-law has a radio from the 60s, and it works, no problem. And he's like, yeah, it works. And so, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Chain restaurants in the US and UK found that American menu items had significantly more calories, fat, sugar, and sodium, especially...
This is a conspiracy as well, that they want everybody to be soft, no hard people. They don't want they want to control you. But this is a conspiracy. I don't know anything about this. It just popped up in my brain. But people like conspiracies, me included. I like to read about the conspiracies, and then you can make up what you want about them. You don't need to believe them, but it's fun to... It's the same with a bunch of stuff. It's fun to get both perspective. You get this perspective, like the mainstream perspective, and then you get the other perspective, and then you get something in between, and then you can bring all this together and make your own conclusion out of it. I think that's the best.
On children's menus, with over 95% of items in both countries exceeding recommended nutrient limits, where I was able to speak with Frankie, the lead chef at P. Terry's, who helped me understand how they managed to offer...
P. Terry's, let's see when they were invented. What did I say? I can't even remember. P. Terry's, we don't have that here. P. Terry's. P. Terry's, what do you call it? Invented 2005. It's not that old then. Look, July 5th 2005. 55555. That's great.
Quality meals at affordable prices.
To look at the menu as a whole, right? How can as many people enjoy what we are serving as possible, right? So our buns, they don't have egg, they don't have dairy. They're delivered to our stands almost every day, to different stands. That is a...
I think this should be a icke-fråga, as we say in Swedish. Icke-fråga. This should be a no-brainer. That they get quality meat, that they get quality potatoes, that the quality stuff, whatever it is, if it's quality wood or quality iron or wherever, that should be the norm. Because nowadays the norm isn't that, if you ask me. The norm is take it as cheap as possible and send it from China or send it from Indonesia, whatever, where they can build it or manufacture it really cheap and then send it to... So, that shouldn't be the standard, in if you ask me. The standard should be good quality and livable standard for folks. It's not too hard.
Producers semi-local out of the Houston area, so it doesn't take long for them to get to us, plus expanding in the Houston market, super close to them. So we don't keep our buns for more than just a few days, right? A couple of days before. Honestly, we run through everything that's been brought to us with the volume that we're doing within a couple of days, right? Buns are never frozen. That's, definitely part of our concept, and something that we pride ourselves in is the freshness of everything. And that includes the buns. A lot of times, you will get, oh, it was frozen and then thawed, or but in our case, never frozen. Same thing with our beef.
Not us.
It's delivered to us fresh.
Fresh as fuck,
boy.
Boy.
One beef supplier, so we know the source of the beef that we're getting, of the beef patties that we're getting. Keeping it really simple. If you get our regular cheeseburger, you're getting the special sauce, lettuce, and tomato. We know, obviously, that the beef is fresh. The bun is fresh. The sauce that we're using is made here at our production.
what it's supposed to say. It's not fresh. We have old stuff. It's all moldy. It tastes like shit. You know, he has to say it's good.
Facility, right? Minimal ingredients. We definitely make sure that it doesn't have any of the artificial dyes or ingredients. I mean, it's the ingredients within the ingredients are super simple as.
And just for comparison to some of P. Terry's competitors, I looked at the price, nutrients, and ingredients of the McNuggets, Chick-fil-A's Nuggets, and P. Terry's Chicken Bites, where an
Chicken
8-count from
Bites.
McDonald's has 386 calories, 26
Perfect.
grams of fat, 1.2 grams of saturated fat, 7.2 grams of polyunsaturated fat, 10.4 grams of monosaturated fat, 724 milligrams of sodium, 19.4 grams of
All
carbs,
other
and
than
20
chicken,
grams of
in other
protein,
words.
where you can see the
Words,
very substantial
words.
list of ingredients, all for the price of between $5.99 to $6.49
That's not cheap, man.
here in Austin, Texas. For Chick-fil-A, an 8-count is 250 calories, 11 grams of fat, 2.5 grams of saturated fat, 1,210 milligrams of sodium, 11 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of sugar, and 27 grams of protein, where you can see the even more substantial list of ingredients,
Yeah.
all for the price of $8.85 here in Austin, Texas. For P. Terry's, their 8-count chicken bites is 300 calories, 13 grams of fat, 3 grams of saturated fat, 600 milligrams of sodium, 13 grams of carbohydrates, and 42 grams of protein.
That's more, you know what? It's more chicken in it because it's 42 grams of protein. Then it's more chicken. Easy.
Sodium,
It's
13
sold.
grams of carbohydrates, and 42 grams of protein.
And then they should be more expensive because you're paying for the chicken. You're not paying for the other stuff. The other stuff is cheap. It's the chicken that's expensive.
Protein, consisting of 100% all-natural, antibiotic-free ground chicken breast,
That's good.
seasoned in salt, pepper, and garlic powder, then breaded in cornstarch, buttermilk, and panko breadcrumbs, all for the price of exactly $5 here in.
How can it be cheaper? What the fuck? How can it be cheaper than this?
Austin, Texas.
No! And where the fuck? Helvete!
Breadcrumbs, all for the price.
Here. How? How can this be more expensive? How can this be more expensive? How can this be cheaper? We will never know. We will never find out, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly $5 here in Austin, Texas.
We want to give them as much chicken as possible.
Told you.
So that really determined both the size of each individual bite as well as how much we are offering in the 8-count bite, which is what people order the most. Price wise, what we charge our guests, we want to do that minimally, right? Because we think about families, we think about all different situations. At what price point can we do that?
But that's it with the smaller businesses. In my opinion, and what I have experienced through my life, it's like all the small businesses have a lot more respect for the customers and they have a lot more integrity, and because they live for this business, you know, they are the business, so to speak. And big companies should take notes from that, you know, that they respect the people for, or what you say, or like what you want to have the people's best interest in mind. And I don't think the big companies have that because they don't need to have it. They have revenue as the first amendment like the first thing in mind. So yeah, you can listen to me, the Swedish lad who's sitting in his little room and speaking facts, straight facts, man.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
For that to where, you know, if somebody has 3 kids, where we can stand out versus other concepts.
Which leads me to believe that as society becomes increasingly more divided, with debates such as raising minimum wage, fast food giants are going to increasingly keep stealing from the working class. They've been doing so for decades.
Yeah.
And they will continue to
That was just what I said, basically.
keep doing
Smart
so.
man. I'm a smart man.
It's fundamentally their business model. It is all about squeezing every last cent out of their customer.
And that's not only these guys. It's a lot. Not every big corporation, but a lot of big corporations. I sound like a hater, I know. I'm just discussing this stuff. You know, I like to discuss it. I can have a discussion about it.
At some point, the Popeyes, the Subway, the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Wendy's, the Jack in the Box will be completely automated. There will be there will be
I
no
told you this
employees
as well.
inside of
Yeah, I
the
told you
store.
this before.
And what will society's excuse be at that point when prices continue to keep increasing? Because wages will no longer be the excuse.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is walking distance from my apartment. I can literally see it here as I'm filming this video.
Film it.
There is
I want to see.
Pizzeria. I can walk over there and I can get a higher quality meal at a far more affordable price. While there are more employees working in the small burger stand, all making substantially higher wages than the fast food competitors in my local area. And that is what comes.
I'ma tell you why. That's because McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they are established names and people want to have the stuff they recognize. Like with everything. If their dad has driven a Volvo, it's a high possibility that their son or daughter is going to buy a Volvo because their dad has said, oh, it's quality product. I really like Volvo. I've drove Volvo all my life. Then it's high possibility. Same with food chains or whatever. You know, if some have if we take IKEA versus Best Buy, I don't know what you have in America. If you have gone to IKEA your whole life or you have been with your parents on IKEA, you're going to prefer IKEA. It's just that simple.
From a business model that is fundamentally designed to prioritize the employees as well as the customer. And that's exactly how things are supposed to be. That is what we should be championing for. That is who we should be supporting. Those are the small businesses that matter.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that P. Terry's is a representation of what a small business used to mean to the United States. It is what we advertise that we still are, but we've completely abandoned it. And I think it's really important that we discuss truly how bad these companies have acted within the last few decades. I don't understand why we choose to destroy the wage earner instead of the corporation. That's not how the United States used to be. And it's a shame.
It's not only the United States. I think this applies to basically the whole Western world, I would say.
But ultimately, on a positive note, P. Terry's is incredible. I've had nothing but great experiences. I reached out to Mr. Terry to see if he would do this interview. Within 45 minutes, we already had a date planned.
King.
I've been eating P. Terry since I was a young boy. It's just very special. It's a very special thing for Austin. It's a very special thing.
And then he's gonna say that to his friends or children or whatever, and then they're gonna go there and then they're gonna think it's great if it's still great. And my theory holds up. Let me know in like 25 years, man. Let me know if it worked.
For me, it's a very special thing because it in many ways also symbolizes his channel. It shows I care so much about providing value to you, and that's all that matters to me.
All that matters.
And it's exciting, and I really hope that this was able to provide value to you. I just want to thank Mr. Terry, Frankie, the P. Terry's team for providing such a wonderful product. It is so much more than just a burger stand. It really is. It's a symbolization of what the United States used to mean. And I also have already done about 6 months ago a podcast with Mr. Terry. So please feel free to check that out as well. Anyways, thank you all so much for your time. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm not sure there's anything more important than taking care of our employees. Most people will tell you.
And you know, this he needs to say this as well. But as I said before, I think this guy he seems like a good guy. So let's hear what he has to say.
That the most important thing is to take care of your customer. I'm not even sure what that means, because really when you're saying that, you're saying my employees are going to take care of the customer. I mean, I'm sitting in an office right now. We have 36 stores. I can't take care of the customer. I depend on the employees, frankly,
Yeah,
to take care of the
100%.
customer. That's how this works. If I haven't taken care of the employees, what are the odds they're going to take care of the customer? Not very
True.
much. And so we start with taking care of the employees.
Getting cancelled.
Oh, fuck. Jump scare. Why do it just play? It just plays out of nowhere. You know, the next clip. Why doesn't it say, like, gonna play in 5 seconds, whatever? Yeah, I agreed with that guy. The hamburger stuff, blah, blah, blah. You heard it all. You heard it here first, folks. You didn't. You just heard a little bit. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, catch you in the next video.